2.5 men.
This happened over 10 years ago, when I was growing up in my childhood home. My neighborhood was filled with kids around my age, and we used to have the best street football and baseball games ever. The usual group consisted of about 8 of us, though sometimes much larger when the other side of the neighborhood got involved. Anyways, this particular day there was only 5 of us. I remember this because the odd number forced us to play 2-on-2 with an all-time quarterback. Then for baseball, we decided instead on a home run derby. This was just all around the best idea with only 5 of us, or so we thought. So our home run wall was essentially the end of a cul-de-sac. On both sides of the street were the backyards of homes, so this meant if we were to hit a foul ball, it was pretty much guaranteed to end up in one of the backyards. But we foolishly never thought it would happen as often as it did. Within 10 minutes of playing, likely still on the first round, and we were running out of tennis balls. We had hit at least 5 balls into different backyards, but like 3 into one particular backyard. So we decided to just hop the wall and grab our balls back really quickly. Now I should also mention that we decided to play in a different spot than usual, on the outskirts of our neighborhood, where we weren't really all that familiar with the neighbors. I don't really even remember why we chose to play there, but we did. Anyways, me and my friend Russell were the 2 who decided to hop the wall and retrieve our tennis balls. He went over first, me right behind him. Immediately something didn't feel right. The backyard was very unkempt. I'm talking bushes 3 feet high spreading throughout the whole perimeter of the backyard. We both pretty much landed in the bushes, turned to each other and kind of giggled nervously. On top of the unkempt yard, after arriving on the other side of the wall, we can now hear what sounded like classical music with an opera singer singing in a foreign language. And I don't know why, but this really creeped me out. At this point, we were still behind a good amount of bushes, so we couldn't really see much, but we decided to try to get a glimpse around before trying to walk out into the somewhat open part of the yard. We found 1 ball and threw it over, but the other 2 were likely deeper in the yard. As we were looking for the other 2 tennis balls, we hear a window from the upstairs room open and the sounds of people whispering. Right as we're shitting bricks over the creepy whispering and foreign opera music, we see 2 older men with what seemed to be only bathrobes on, standing at the sliding glass door to the backyard, literally 10 feet from us. They are both just staring, not really showing any sort of emotion, but they for sure both see us. It didn't take anything else to convince us it was time to bail. We turned around and booked it up and over the wall, feet still running when we hit the ground. Our friends were just in shock as we came hauling ass telling them to run. We ran all the way back to the other side of the neighborhood, faster than I thought possible, and straight into my friend's side yard. As we are all trying to catch our breath, the other 3 keep asking us what happened. So I tell them the story as I did for you, except Russell had a slightly creepier version. Russell apparently caught a glimpse of the whisperer upstairs, and they were wearing a fucking baby face mask. And for the 2 guys just staring, I noticed that one of them had his hands behind his back. What I didn't notice was that he was handcuffed. Well, Russell did. We tried to figure out an explanation for what the hell we saw that day, but nothing ever really ended up making sense about it all. Even to this day, the only explanation that makes any sort of sense is that we interrupted some sort of bizarre sexual encounter, but even that doesn't explain the situation. Regardless of what was going on, It was haunting. So 2.5 men from my old neighborhood. Let's never meet again.
I just wanted to be his friend.
This all started with me a few months ago. Our school is relatively small, so everybody knows everyone. In our school, everybody gets along with everybody. Well, except for a few people, that is. Daniel, being one of those people, everybody always wanted to stay away from him, as something just seemed very wrong about him. I always thought that this was all very unfair towards him. I saw him as a poor, lonely boy who just wished for a friend. So one day I went talking with him. The more I talked with him, the more normal he was for me. Sure, he said a bit of weird stuff sometimes, but hey, everybody is weird in their own way, so I didn't let it faze me. We soon started hanging out and everything was fine for the first few weeks. I saw him as a great friend, and I thought he saw me the same. One day we were walking around the park until he suddenly told me that he loved me and if I would like to be his girlfriend. I was extremely caught off guard. I never thought he would feel like this for me. I sighed quietly and told him that I didn't feel the same way, but I said we could still always be friends. His eyes widened with shock before he glared down on me. He grabbed my wrists and pulled me close to himself. He told me that he would kill himself if I wouldn't be his girlfriend. He said that I was the only thing that mattered to him and that he would have me, one way or another. I was extremely scared at this point. I quickly panicked as he leaned down, ready to kiss me. I did the only thing that I could think of at that point and kicked him in his groin. He groaned in pain and let go of me. I used that chance to quickly run away. I ran and ran, ignoring his screams behind me. I didn't stop until I got home. I quickly went into my room. I was home alone at that moment, so I quickly locked my doors and all my windows. I went into my room and instantly started to cry. I didn't know why I was crying. I just couldn't hold the tears back. The next day at school, I stayed together with my friends. I didn't talk to him. I didn't even look at him. But the whole day I could feel myself being watched, and I knew that it was Daniel. He sent me messages the whole day. He sent me his own drawn pictures. Some were of us having intercourse together, and others were of us kissing. It might not sound so scary, but for me it was absolutely terrifying. He sent me messages of how he would tie me up and take me to his home and put me inside of his closet. I, of course, blocked his number after that. I was scared for my life at this point. He hasn't tried to talk to me in a few weeks now, and I hope it stays this way, but still I'm keeping my guard up and always make sure I have somebody around me, and when I sleep I have my 2 dogs around me. I just really hope that this is the end and I won't ever have to talk or meet with Daniel again. Update. I finally showed my mother and father the messages, and they were in absolute shock. And my father looked like he was ready to kill Daniel. They instantly went to Daniel's parents' house and talked with them. They made an agreement that if Daniel ever bothers me again, that they would tell the police and show them the messages. I finally feel a lot better now. I think that Daniel will finally leave me alone, and if he should ever bother me again, then I have my parents who will support me. Thank you all for your suggestions. It really helped.